good. Happy 4th of July. All right, beautiful people. I was just moving extremely slow this morning. That's why we're at 7:30, a few minutes after 7:30. Today, I said we're going to be live at 7:15, like I do every morning. Like, I'm still running a few minutes late, but these are my fireworks. Happy 4th of July. All right, y'all. It is Monday, July the 4th, 2022. Day 150 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets, another 4-year consecutive day count. Day 1168. Today, y'all, we are reading Cpenta-Armij, daughter of Jehovah, picking back up on page 266. Father, we thank you for another day. Give me strength to finish unpacking all this stuff. Okay, y'all. Uncle Nathaniel, peaceful greetings. Mom, shalom, shalom. Oahspe College University, you sent an email. You know what? My mom said you sent a message after I had ended, and I still did not check my emails yesterday. I'll check it. Nuka to Lindo, happy 4th. Eat the flesh and drink the blood of Lincoln. Tiffany, hey girl, hey. Different look. Uncle Nathaniel, yes. We just bought a house. We y'all are in my kitchen, the seating area, the table, all this stuff. We ain't moved the furniture in yet. We actually about to get the floors redone. We had the guys come look at it yesterday, so plus we gotta wait for the furniture. They take forever to deliver stuff. So but while we waiting, we just gonna go ahead and get the floors done. So with that being said, let's get started. All right, y'all, on page 266, chapter 2 of the book of Cpenta-Armij. Cpenta-Armij said, I looked afar and saw the earth and her heavens traveling on. I listened to the voice of mortals. A merchant counted over his gains. He said, this is heaven. A drunkard quaffed a cup of poison. He said, this is heaven. A wanton said, this is heaven. A general, red with blood, counted the badges on his breast. He said, this is heaven. A tyrant, rich and toiling slaves, said, this is heaven. Then a vast multitude, all smeared with the blood of war, pointed to a field of mortals slain and said, this is heaven. A farmer stretched wide his arms toward his great possessions, uncultivated, and he said, this is heaven. A little child with a toy said, this is heaven. Then spake Jehovah, saying, none of these canst thou convince to the contrary. They are not ready for deliverance. I listened to the voice of spirits, the angels traveling with the earth. A wanderer going about with nothing to do said, this is heaven. An obsessor of mortals and of other angels said, this is heaven. The fairies, the butterfly angels, the triflers that forever look into crystal waters to behold their own forms said, this is heaven. The rollicking, deceiving angels went and inspired mortals to falsehood. These angels said, this is heaven. Vampire angels that nestle in the atmosphere of mortals, largely living on their substance, said, this is heaven. Evil angels obsessing mortals for murder's sake, to make mortals burn houses and torture helpless creatures, said, this is heaven. Then spake Jehovah, saying, none of these canst thou convince to the contrary. They are not ready for deliverance. Again, I listened to the sounds coming from the far-off earth, and I heard the prayers of mortals. The king prayed for his kingdom and for himself. The general prayed for success in war. the merchant for great gains, the tyrant for great authority. Jehovah said, only the earth can answer such prayers. I listened again for the prayers of mortals. They had great afflictions, dire diseases, and famines and wars. The merchants were bankrupt, and there was great suffering, and they prayed for deliverance. Jehovah said, shouldest thou deliver them, shouldest thou deliver them? I tell you, sometimes they need to add some commas in here. Jehovah said, shouldest thou deliver them, they would return to their old evil habits. I say unto thee, the merchant shall be bankrupt, the king shall fail, the general be overthrown, the healthy shall be sick for a season. Save they know my power, they cannot learn. Save they feel affliction, they will not help one another. Shall a man say, O Jehovah, come thou and heal the sick? Shall he not first of all recognize my will and know my power? To give money to the drunkard, what good is that? To give wealth and earthly prosperity to them that acknowledge me not is to set them against me. To give healing to the fevered is to teach them that I have no power in the unseen. Answer not thou the prayers of these. Maybe this is the answer to some of y'all why y'all not getting answers. Maybe. Maybe not. To give money to the drunkard, what good is that? To give wealth and earthly prosperity to them that acknowledge not me is to set them against me. To give healing to the fevered is to teach them that I have no power in the unseen. Answer not thou the prayers of these. I listened once more to the prayers of mortals, and they were such as lived according to their higher light. After higher, it has reference number 2, which at the bottom it simply says highest. I listened once more to the prayers of mortals, and they were such as lived according to their higher light. They purified the flesh by pure food and by bathing every day. Some of y'all that don't take baths every day. I mean, not the regulars. We know y'all bathe every day. If y'all getting up this early, y'all bathe every day. Probably 2 or 3 times, right? I listened once more to the prayers of mortals, and they were such as lived according to their higher light. They purified the flesh by pure food and bathing every day, and they went about doing good constantly, hoarding up neither clothes, nor silver, nor gold, nor anything earthly. And they purified their thoughts by putting away the evil tongue and the evil eye and the evil ear, and many of them were bound by kings and the tyrants and the laws of mortals, and some of them were sick. And they prayed, saying, great is my affliction, O Jehovah. I know that in thy sight I am justly punished. But hear thou my prayer, O Father. Make me strong, that I may carry heavy burdens for the weary. Give me liberty, that I may go about helping the poor forever. Give me wisdom, that I may uncover thy glories before men. Jehovah said, go thou, my daughter, and deliver them. They are ready for deliverance. Answer thou the prayers of such. Then I called my host together, 500 millions in the Nirvanian heavens, in Oahspe, in Ethera, the highest heaven. And we entered into the Aravagna, as swelling high on every side, the music of millions cheered us on. Upward, high up shone the glimmering red star, whereon now our steersman pointed the fire arrow to shoot meteor-like across Jehovah's pathway, and thitherward turned our buoyant souls, saluting our starters with a happy goodbye. Arise, arise, by my vested power in thee, O Jehovah, shall the elements fall before my will. Arise onward to the red star, speed on, Aravagna, upward on, so they head to earth. Thus spake Cpenta-Armij, her voice mellow and sweet, but so tuned to the spheres it could be heard Thus spake Cpenta-Armij, her voice mellow and sweet, but so tuned to the spheres it could be heard the breath of a world. And Jehovah, with whose power and will she had learned to be as one by long experience and studying submission to his will, lent a willing ear and strong hand. Out shot the flames, the buoyant voice manufactured by less skilled workmen, learning the trade of gods, where whirled the millions, where whirled like a whirlwind, where whirled the million screws of fire, propelling till the mighty ship reeled and turned and rose from its foundation with all its joyous host aboard, shouting loud and singing praise to him who ruleth all. Then turning round and round, slowly, spiral-like, the great secret form and force of vortices, now first revealed to man, to show the plan of worlds and how holden in their places and moved in universal harmony and endless creation. The great Aravagna began her course in the roadway of Saltwatka in Ethera, shooting toward the red star, the young earth, nearing first the Oxyan spars of Oahspe, where were gathered near the road 10 million spectators to see the goddess pass in her ship, and their banners waved, and their music burst forth most exhilarating, the which were answered by the Aravagna's cheering host and sailing streamers. She halted to salute and honor the goddess Utisiv, and then upward shot 1,000 miles suddenly, again onward, turning the breadth of the road 1,000,000 miles to the right to salute Votania, goddess of the swamps of Elasak, where stood by the portico of her heavenly palace 70 million pupils in their 1,000th year of tuition to receive the passing blessing of the Orion chieftainess Cpenta-Armij. And thither but a halt, as it were a nod, and downward on their heads Cpenta-Armij sent a shower of newly created flowers from the sphere above, and in turn heard their chorus rise joyfully in as many million words of love and admiration. Still onward, upward sped the Aravagna, her host viewing the scenes on every side, here most the richest part and most glorious places of Saltwatka, where the Etherian worlds, rich in the glitter of swamps, shining on the countless rainbow arches and crystal pyramids, afford an extensive view of the new Orion boundaries of Otitsan's broad kingdoms. Here course the thousands of excursionists from the measureless regions of the Huan lights, where are to be seen 1,000,000 varieties of fire ships of sizes from 10 miles across the breadth of the world in unceasing travel, in tens of thousands of directions, onward in their ways, every several one a history of millions of years and of thousands of millions of souls, and every soul rich in the knowledge of 1,000 worlds. Dana, hey girl, hey, yeah, you been MIA. Girl, we're moving to our house. Sony, shalom, shalom. Francis, shalom. Great Spirit, Jehovah, peace and blessings, family, in the name of Jehovah. Hey. Okay. Page 269. Verse 19. By music alone, some of their ships propelled, the vibratory chords affording power, sufficient in rich, high-skilled hands, and the tunes changing according to the regions traversed. Others, even by colors, made in waves of sound, went forward, carrying millions of angels, every one attuned so perfectly that his very presence lent power and beauty to the monarch vessel, and downward and upward, and east and west, and north and south, and of every angle and course, such were the traveling regions of Wallagothish in the Etherian fields of Otitsan, and of the million ships with their tens of thousands of millions of spirits Who so great a goddess like Cpenta-Armij could turn her well-learned eyes on anyone and know its home regions and from what Orion pastures sailed, or perhaps Nirvanian rivers, or like her visiting friends now with her, great Ox and Sewagon and Jehovih, that with her stood side by side, reading the coursing fleets and relating to one another who they were, and the great chiefs aboard, with whom thousands of years ago they had been together, taming some rambling star and quieting its disturbed vortex, or perhaps surveying a roadway many millions of miles through an Aegean forest. And the while the Aravagna was shooting on in the hands of her proper officers, everyone to his part, and all the host in varied amusement, for such is the labor of the high raised in heaven. Labor itself becometh an amusement of great relish. Coming then to the crossings near Bilothowichium, where was a small colony, 90 million Etherean weavers, superintended by Cpenta-Armij's ward, Hohuel, God of 2,000 years, who knew she was coming his way, and had lighted the roadway 100,000 miles in honor thereof. She turned the Aravagna and cast the streamers and banners, saluting. Here again, Cpenta-Armij sent down to her beloved sons and daughters for everyone flowers and keepsakes. On every flower was written the history and mission to the earth and her heavens. And then again, the Aravagna upward rose and sped on. I like how every time a new person or a graduate, a high-raised angel comes to help the earth get back on track or get through certain phases and generations and stuff, they always go through like this whole procession and parade, right? And everybody know somebody else going to help these jokers down here, right? And they do like this big parade, like it's our turn. We're going, y'all can wish us luck. Hey, throw them some flowers, some banners and stuff. Let's go, right? So they cheering, thinking this time they're going to be able to help keep the earth, the young earth, the red star, on a proper path or guided through certain places. And they get here like, oh my goodness, what in the world? I have not even heard the worst of it. Y'all, they ain't tell me about, hey, you ain't tell me about this. Man, we tried to. There was no words to explain what was happening down there. All right, y'all. Hold on. Verse 22. Thus in Jehovah's wide universe went forth the goddess, the chieftainess, Cpenta-Armij, went toward the red star, passing through 10,000 varieties of Etherean worlds and roadways in the Geaean fields and forests of high heaven, seeing millions of Etherean ships going hither and thither, everyone knowing its own mission and field of labor, whilst the highest raised gods and goddesses could exchange courtesies with the fiery vehicles and speak to them to know whither bent and for what purpose. Then raising high, here on a level lieth the earth, here the boundary of her vortex, Chinvat, just beyond the sweep of the moon, halted here to view the rolling earth and her land and water and her atmospherean heavens, the sojourning place of the newly dead and of such as have not aspired to rise to holier heavens. Quickly now, Cpenta-Armij taketh in the situation and ordereth on the Aravagna, which now taketh a downward course, steering straight toward the habitable earth. Slowly now, turning slowly and descending, viewing all the regions on every side. In the great vortex, she spies the plateau, Oahspe, the place of God, new founded. And to her companions and to her host quickly, Cpenta-Armij of the Nirvanian Chigotha explaineth the place, and stretching forth her slender hand, itself most like a stream of fire, she cried out, Behold my anchorage, here, bring my ship and make fast, where riseth now the voices of my weary God and his lords, of me so long expectant. In thy wisdom and power, O Jehovah, I will raise them up. All right, let's go, girl. Let's go. This is the first woman we see that was sent here to help this place. Okay, y'all. Thank you, Dana. Thank you. Chapter 3, page 270. Jehovah spake to God, ruler of atmosphere and of the earth, saying, Well done, O my son. The beginning of the end of thy trials is at hand. I have spoken in the highest heavens, in my ethereal worlds, in the gardens of Oahspe, near the ark of Cpenta, to my daughter, who hath attained to be one with me, a Nirvanian in regions of Chingotha, the holy Cpenta-Armij. Her ship, an Aravagna, with 500 million Etherian deliverers on board, have started on the road Salkwatka, swiftly bound to thy regions, to thy new plateau, Oahspe. Send thou word to Yima to come, and to Vishnu and to Os, each to come in rank, attended by 10 million, grade above 70, with Esenars and marshals and captains and generals to come to Oahspe. And send thou invitations to thy diva to come, and to thy sub-gods, and to thy lord gods, and to thy lords, and all the divisions of heaven, and the divisions of earth, and to bring of their people all above grade 50. Remember, you can't even rise from the lowest heaven unless you have risen above grade 50. If you below grade 50, you need to get it together, bro. It's like you're still in elementary school and middle school, and you might be knocking on 50's door in high school, right? But we'll see. What verse was I on? Oh, 4. And send thou invitations to thy diva to come, and to thy sub-gods, and to thy lord gods, and to thy lords, in all the divisions of heaven and the divisions of the earth, and to bring of their people all above grade 50. And to thy marshals, give thou a list of all who will be with thee in Oahspe on that day. And thy marshals shall apportion and divide and arrange all thy hosts, thus assembled in Oahspe, according to grade, approaching thy throne in 4 lines, east and west and north and south, and thy throne shall be the extreme seat. And in the center of the cross shall thy marshals provide space sufficient for the host of Cpenta-Armij to land her Aravagna and to disembark. But at the extreme boundary of the lines of thy host thou shalt draw a circle, and thither shall thy light makers erect pillars of light, making the circle as a wall of light, and as the diameter of the circle is to the distance down to the earth's surface, so 1/10 thereof shalt thou make as the summit of the apex of the canopy of thy capital chamber, for the holy counsel of thy goddess Cpenta-Armij. God said, Thy will be done, O Jehovah. And thereupon God sent word to his messengers, as commanded by the Great Spirit, sent invitations to all the gods and lords of heaven and earth, commanding them to come to Oahspe. And the Lord gods and lords thus notified, appointed substitutes to rule in their places, and they made otivans, every one suitable to the number of angels he was to take with him, and they embarked and rose up from their several places in atmosphere and the earth, and being guided in their courses by such experts as had learned the way, came to Oahspe, where they were received by the chief marshal of God and his officers, and allotted their several places according to their respective grades. But as the plateau was above grade 50 in the earth's vortex, so there were no angels of less grade than 50 amongst all the hosts assembled. So just a real quick recap, just for those who may not know, right? Remember, Jehovah is the Great Spirit. Whenever you see Jehovah or Maz or the Great Spirit or the ever-present terms like that, that is referring to the Creator, who we refer to a lot of times as Yah or Yahuwah. Some say Yahweh, right? It's the Great Spirit. God is like the president of the earth, right? So it's a whole chain of command, right? So when you see God and the gods change, right? There's only one God ruling the earth and the earth's heavens at a time, right? For their set period of time. And under the God, you have Lord gods, then you have lords, and you have like, so sub gods are the ones. So say if God left the throne, somebody would sit in the place. That would be a sub god, right? Then you have Lord gods, then lords, and on down to the generals, captains, marshals, and then Asaphs and Ashars, all them different ones. I know I missed a bunch of them. Lewis, yeah, y'all get it, right? So don't get it twisted when you see Jehovah say it to God. So it's the Great Spirit speaking to the person he put in charge of this particular planet Earth and Earth's heavens, right? So when you see false lords and false gods, right, those are the ones who broke away from the chain of command of light and want to do their own thing. And those are the deceiving spirits, you know, and all of them used to be humans, whether they're from here or from another place the Father has created. But they were all humans, and they were once human flesh, and now they're just spirit. They've lost the ability to use their flesh unless above a certain grade. Then you learn how to sue us, right? That's when you've mastered the elements. You master the elements of like earth and like the spirit realm or S, and you know how to create yourself a body and manifest yourself when needed here, right? So, but you got to be a different grade. You got to like stay in the path of light, not skip school, right? So, and we learn how to do that before we leave here, right? I'm just saying we can. All right, I ain't learned how to do it yet, but I'm working my way up there because I know we can do it before we go, and you can just walk through walls and stuff. All it is understanding physics and chemistry and all this stuff, right? But also, you can't be a meat eater and do it. You're too dense. Your body too heavy. It's impossible. That I know you can't do. Alicia, yeah, hey girl, hey. Okay, I digress. Verse 8. And Jehovah commanded God to number the angels thus assembled in Oahspe, and there were 7,975,800,000 officers in all. And the day and the hour of their assembling, when they were numbered, was the self-same time that Cpenta-Armij's fire ship arrived at Chinvat, when her light burst in full view to the host of God in Oahspe. And they all beheld her coming, saw the manner in which a chieftainess cometh to the lower heavens. And because of the great glory before them, they burst forth into a song of praise to Jehovah, the 7,000 million. Jehovah spake to God, saying, Ascend thy throne, my son, and allot the council and thy officers And hold on, let me just start it all over again. Jehovah spake to God, saying, Ascend thy throne, my son, and allot the council and thy officers to their place. For quickly now, behold, my daughter will descend. When she cometh, my voice will be with her for the years and days of the dawn of Dan. So God caused his council and his marshal and his diva to take their places and to be in readiness for the emancipated sons and daughters. And presently the descending star grew brighter and larger and brighter, till like the sun she shone abroad over all the plateau of Oahspe. In all stood the gods at sight of the sublime spectacle, for the light of the Aravagna was brilliant and unlike all the lights of the lower heavens, and new to nearly all the people. Nearer and nearer descended the ship of light, till soon the music of her host descended down to those beneath, who, awe-stricken and buoyant with delight, burst forth entrance with the glory thereof, singing by the force of Jehovah's light upon them the same glorious anthem. And now the marshal spread the way, for close at hand came the Aravagna, over the bows of which Cpenta-Armij shone like a central sun, and with her visiting hosts, Oahspe and Jehovih and Siwagan. So, but for Cpenta-Armij, holding out her taper hand, the host below had hardly known which of the four great lights Jehovah had sent. Presently, the curtains swept across the high pyramid of the Capitol, and then the transparent blankets and crystal framework, and now shot down the anchors, 300,000. Lower and lower, slowly came the mighty ship, till her screenwork, from which the anchors hung, touched the very floors of the Capitol, and all radiant with holiness, before God and his hosts, stood the Ethereans, the glory of the most high heavens. The attendants then quickly spread the Homa. The masters of arches opened the floor and sides of the Aravagna, and there, seated or standing, was ready the central part of the Etherean council chamber, even as if the throne of God had been built for it. Then came forth the chieftainess, Cpenta-Armij, accompanied by Oahspe and Jehovih and Siwagan, and arriving before the throne stood, waiting for the salutation and the sign. Still, God, still sitting on the throne, said, daughter of Jehovah's, hold on. God, still sitting on the throne, said, daughter of Jehovah, chieftainess of Jehovah, in the name of the Father. And hereupon he gave the sign, Ark of Spita. Cpenta-Armij and her three companions saluted in the sign of the circuit, which was the highest compliment of any god of the earth had ever received. Cpenta-Armij said, by Jehovah's command, I am before thee, O God. In love and wisdom and power I am come. Behold, my voice is his voice, creator of worlds. God said, my throne is founded in Jehovah's name. Come thou and honor it, and bring thy most high gods and goddesses with thee. They went forward then, and all the gods and goddesses and lords and lordesses stood up, saluting, shaking hands. And then Cpenta-Armij went and sat in the midst of the throne. Meanwhile, the Essenars chanted a hymn of thanksgiving. Cpenta-Armij, being under the voice of Jehovah, said, For joy created I, man and woman, for seasons of labor and seasons of recreation. Be ye mirthful before me, and jubilant toward one another, in remembrance of my creations. And when I call you to labor, behold, my hand will move upon you for the furtherance of my kingdoms in their resurrections. Hereupon the multitude broke off from their places and stateliness, and commingled together joyfully. And all that were on the throne came down and went into the multitude, saluting and rejoicing. All right, y'all. Where we at? Chapter 4. The title of this chapter is Of the Birth of Po, Abram, Brahma, and Iwata. Right? So we know Iwata was like the what do you want to say? Like the Abraham of the Gautamas, right? North Gautama, South Gautama, which is what? North and South America, which the Bible completely erases and don't even tell you that there be such a place. Call it the New World. No, my G, it's the Old World if you want to use those terms. But they was there. Okay, let's get started. For 2 whole days, Cpenta-Armij left the people in recreation, but on the 3rd she ascended the throne, and lo and behold, even in that same moment of time, a light spread abroad over all the place, so that the people comprehended indeed what was meant by Jehovah's hand being upon them. And they all resumed their places, whereupon Jehovah spake through Cpenta-Armij, saying, Whom I brought with me from Jehovah shall be my counsel during dawn. but the portals shall remain open on every side. Who are not of my counsel are not bound unto these, my labors, and the same shall go and come as they choose, remembering the call of their respective gods. For know ye all, that whoever aspireth to me shall come to me, but the nearest way for many is round about. Ye being above grade 50 are already more to me and for me than against me or from me, and in equal degree are cast upon your own responsibility. For such is the light of my kingdoms, from the first to the highest, to the child, no responsibility, to grade 25, 1/4, to 50, 1/2, to 75, 3/4, but to the emancipated in my Ethereal realms, responsibility not only to self, but to all who are beneath, wherein my highest worlds are responsible for the lowest, being bound unto one another through me for the resurrection of all. In this day I am come to deliver my gods down to the earth, to walk on the earth with mortals, raising them up in my name. They who shall be raised up in me, even though still on the earth, shall be holding alike responsible for all who are beneath them. For with my light and power before them, and doing in my name, they are beneath them. They that are beneath them will behold them, not only on earth, but in heaven, for their labors and words. The voice departed, and then Cpenta-Armij spake in her own behalf, saying, once around earth and heaven will I now travel, seeing with my own eyes and hearing with my own ears, even as is commanded of me by the Father, that I may know of mine own knowledge the condition of mortals and of the spirits who dwell both with them and in the lowest heavens. He who is still your God shall abide with you and on this throne until I return. Cpenta-Armij then descended and sat at the foot of the throne, and Ox and Heoha and Siwagan with her, whereupon God went down and took her hand, saying, arise, O goddess, and go thy way. And then he raised up the other three in the same way, and they saluted and stood aside. Now, as soon as God had raised them up, the all-light settled upon him. Remember, all-light is another name for Yah, or the Great Spirit, right? The creator of all worlds, right? Known and unknown, those past and those present and those that will be, right? The great God, the great creator. Now, as soon as God raised them up, the all-light settled upon them, and he again ascended the throne and sat in the midst. Then spake Cpenta-Armij, saying to God, Jehovah hath commanded the raising of a voice in 4 divisions of the earth. What is thy light, O God? God said, in Japheth I have raised up a man named Po. Hold on, where's my highlighter? I brought one down. What I do with it? Did I drop it on the way down? Okay. Okay. In Japheth, that's the knife sharpener. Don't try and use it. They already sharp. Don't pull that off. We got to read the directions. We just saw it. It was like, oh, we got to get this. Yeah. Okay. In Japheth, I have raised up a man named Po, and Ehuan of the Ehim side of grade 95 in Arabinia, remember, which is Northeast Africa, or what they call the Middle East. This is still part of Africa. Listen. Remember, Japheth is what, y'all? What is Japheth? Hold on. Japheth and Vidiu and Guatama. Japheth, Arabinia, Vidiu, Guatama. Shalom, Audrey. Shalom. Hold on, y'all. Oh, I think it was page 17. No, we give the other names. The different places have a few different names. Japheth is... No. Shem is India. Japheth is what? China, right? China. Guatemala, we know, is the Americas. Okay. Anyway, we ain't gonna spend too much time on that. I'm gonna go through. I gotta write because I got it highlighted in different places, but I only remember page 17 where it gives like the big name for all of it. Then you got like the different names which are within the same continent. Like you got Waga, which is Pan or Pangea. Then you have Jude, which is all of Asia. Then you have Thori, which is America, which is also called Guatemala, and the different places. And you'll see the names. And then you have Vohu, which is all of Africa, right? Then you have Dis, which is all of the Europe area, right? Okay. All right. Verse 11. In Japheth, I have raised up a man named Po, and a Huan of the Ehim side of grade 95. In Arabinia, I have raised up a man named Abram, and a Huan of the Ehim side of grade 95. And this Abram is the same Abraham, the person Abraham that we know in the Holy Bible. We can get to it. They're gonna really break it down, y'all. Even it's gonna go through the Exodus period, right? In Arabinia, I have raised up a man named Abram, and Ehuan of the Ehim side of grade 95. In Vidu, I have raised up a man named Brahma, and Ehuan of the Ehim side of grade 95. In Guatemala, I have raised up a man named Iwata, and Ehuan of the Ehim side of grade 95. The Lewis who have accomplished this labor are still with their wards, but are apprised of thy coming. Remember, the Lewis, L-O-O''IS, are those masters of generations. Remember, the Lewis are the ones, or the angels. They used to be human. They're high raised, you know, and they're the ones who are with you when a child is about to be born, when a child is conceived. Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you, Oahspe College University. Arabinia is another word. I just said Northeast Africa, right? I'm thinking about Arabia and stuff, but it is. I said it's a part of Africa. Yeah, so Arabinia is also all of Africa as well. Thank you for that. So the Lewis are the masters of, they're called masters of generations, and they actually record when a woman is pregnant, the surrounding circumstances, her state of being, how she lives, what she does, right? All of this, like they include the entire picture, and they're able to, based on the life and the surroundings and where they're placed, environment, and the father's behavior, mother's behavior, background, previous generations, they're able to prophesy. It actually says prophesy what the child in the womb will be.
So everything that y'all did is in a book, niggas. Y'all thought y'all was slick doing something behind closed doors? You can't.
Boy, juice your juice and stay from over here. Listen, but also when a child is born, they also follow that child till that child is married, and how it says a child or children in that same process. And I think a Lewis has that watch. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's for 200 years. Is it 200 years? I could be off. Don't quote me on the 200 years, but it's a long period of time. That's why they call it masters of generations. They can literally predict and prophesy based on all information about the family, mother side, father side, what's happening, how the mother takes care of her body, what she eats, what she hears, what she listens to. All of that goes into the soul of the child who will be born, and they will act out of all those circumstances as they grow, and also with what happens around them while they're growing, right? So they follow this process all the way down, and they do this for a few generations. They watch that child, they stay with that child and with their children, and their children, all the way up to the sixth generation, right? And then they could keep on doing that, or they could graduate like to the next level. But that's the job of what Lewises do. And they're spiritual. They also know how to suis as well, which is Like, they're unseen, but if they want to manifest, they could. They know how to do it, because in order to be a Lewis, you definitely need to learn how to Sargis, right? They call it Sargis, or
When you die, you just go. If you haven't learned as much as you could down here, you just go to like a school.
yeah, like you go back. If you don't learn all you need to do, they got school, spiritual school. If
you know that you're going to spiritual school.
A lot of people don't know, like, if they're not taught, like, if they just...
No, like, if you die, you don't learn everything here, you go to spiritual school. But are you aware of this spiritual school?
You will be.
Get your mind wiped away. Like,
You don't get your mind wiped away, Jeremiah. Actually, listen. Okay, so if you die in a degraded state, or like you're full of flesh, that I'm glad in the way your mind is not wiped, in the way you wipe your own mind by not living how you should. I did a video on this called DNA Angels. Thank you. I'm gonna watch that. I ain't gonna say the day, because we still doing like a whole bunch of stuff, boxes moving around. As soon as I'm done, then my husband gotta leave back out. So y'all, and that's it. And I'm so sorry. I did not even put the name on the last two videos. More so because the internet and stuff was acting up, and it was just really hard. But they got that fixed. Late yesterday they came out on a Sunday. So hoorah to Spectrum for doing that. They got it fixed, but still, by the time me and my husband got back, it was just too much. My feet was hurt, my back was hurt. I just took a shower and flopped across my air mattress. Okay, but listen, back to what I was saying. So the Lewis, they're high raised angels or whatever. They literally follow you for generations. And so a lot of times when you hear people, if they're prophesying correctly, especially about what a person will be, whether they're laying hands on children or adults or whoever's getting a prophecy about your life, it will come from the Sargis, but I don't think the Sargis will talk to you directly, the one who the prophecy is coming through, if you haven't already developed spiritual ears for yourself. That's my whole thing. I was like, I don't want to hear nobody, because I don't really know who they listening to, or if they, now I can tell. I mean, before I couldn't. It was just a hit and miss. Okay, did that really come from y'all, or did that not come from y'all? Is that coming from your own soul, or all this stuff? But now this teaches you how to spot phonies in the spiritual realm, and those here walking the earth prophesying and preaching. And I'll say about 90% of them is frauds, based on what I know as of today. Boy, I can spot a fraud real quick now, boy. And I'm just like, the more I read through this Oahspe, it's like it's a whole nother level of spiritual education while we're here. It is so good. And this is just our first time going through it. I know that when we get through it the first time and we go back, because we are going to go back a second time and read through it, just like we did our due diligence with the Bible, reading through it all them times, right? We're going to do the same thing. Soak it in. I know we're going to understand things that we didn't understand the first time going through. But anyway, so I'm just talking about a whole bunch of stuff now. But anyway, I started just to give you a quick definition of what the Lewis was. And to finish your question, people wipe their own minds. Not necessarily saying they wipe their own minds, but when you don't live like you should, and you're stuffing your body with meat and stuff, you do a lot of detriment to yourself. And that way, when you pass on from here, whether old or young, it's highly possible that you will be kind of like anchored here on the earth when you should be rising. Because just like you can feel meat when you eat it, it weighs the body down. You get tired and you get the itis and you got to go sleep it off till your body burn it up. So the same thing is happening to your spirit. You just can't rise. First of all, you're eating another sentient being, which you shouldn't be doing at all. We were not created to consume flesh and blood. I don't care if it's what's the words? Kosher, or if it's halal, or whatever you want to call it, pescatarian. This ain't the bread. Chicken, fish is just as bad.
The only nutrients you can get from it is actually getting to the blood, and I doubt y'all ready to drink some blood, so go ahead and throw that out of your mind right now.
That's forbidden. Listen, pause. Boy,
I mean,
I don't know what. Wait, no, you can't.
How you think animals in the kingdom get their nutrients? That's where all the nutrients lies, is in the blood.
First of all,
they have just eating dead and just a carcass. Imagine going like, ooh, there's a carcass on the ground. I'm gonna just cook it. if people start looking at it like that, I bet you there's gonna be some nasty niggas amongst us. I'll eat a carcass. Like, yeah, you would. But like
Jeremiah,
that common sense.
David, listen to me. What I was saying. First of all, animals have a whole different intestinal system. They can eat flesh and not get all the crazy things happening to their body like humans do, because they have short intestines. Soon as they eat, even look at them, they get the itis too, but their intestinal tract is extremely short, so it can pass right out. They get what they need, and it passes out in the drought, right? Us, we have very long intestines, which were designed to extract nutrients from plant-based foods, which is why you eat meat, your body degrades and you die. When you eat plants, living foods, your body heals and thrives and revives. That's not even rocket science. Rocket science. You don't even, look, I know this is probably worn out by now, you don't even have teeth to eat meat. If we were meat eaters, look at the animal kingdom. Is they cooking their food? They hopping on the backs of giraffes and whatever. You go try and go with your cow, chicken. Go chase a chicken around somebody's coop. Pick it up and just, if you was a real meat eater, go, that live chicken, go take a bite out its backside. First of all, that's super disgusting, and we call them the folk. Hey, yo, we need somebody down here. Somebody's in my chicken coop trying to eat my chickens. No. The chickens are running around. They're trying to eat them alive. No, we don't even have the teeth to do that. Okay, I digress. Let me finish this. I ain't fooling with you this morning. Get out my kitchen, boy. Verse 12. The Lewis who have accomplished this labor, still with their wards, but are apprised of thy coming. Behold, I send with thee messengers who will answer thy commands. Hereupon Cpenta-Armij with her host departed and entered an Otivan, which God had previously prepared for her. And she took with her 1,000,000 attendants, going straight down to the earth. And first of all, to visit mortals and mortal kingdoms, kings and queens, temples and oracles, and then to see Po and Abram and Brahma and Iwata, all of whom were sufficiently illumined to see her and to know she was the person of the all voice. Next, after these, she visited the all heavenly kingdoms belonging to the earth, going first to the heavenly kingdom belonging to Japan, thence to Ahoan of Japheth, thence to Echad, and so on until she saw them all. After that, Cpenta-Armij returned to Jehovih, making a circuit sufficient to examine all the plateaus below the belt meteorus. Now the whole time Cpenta-Armij had been gone was 32 days. While she had been absent, God extended the receiving grounds of Jehovih 12,000 miles in breadth toward the south, and founded 60 colonies. For even now were and would be, for the 4 years to come, ships arriving daily with hundreds of thousands of angels who were being prepared, for the degree of brides and bridegrooms to Jehovah, ready for the third resurrection. Remember, we see the term brides and bridegrooms in the Bible. Like, whoever, we know that those who help put the Bible together, right? They knew a little bit of something. So we see some of these terms already that we're familiar with, but the church teaches it in a whole different light with a whole bunch of pieces missing, right? But the brides and bridegrooms, like, people think when they die or go to heaven, you bride and bridegroom. No, first of all, you didn't even get the whole eating part down while you still had a body. No, you got a long time before you become a bride, or for the women, a bride for the women or bridegroom for the men. No, don't work that way, right? We'd be so much far ahead if they hadn't chopped and screwed all the information we were supposed to have to help us get through earth school, right? All the way from the time we break through the matrix from our mother's womb to the time we're old and seasoned. By the time we're old and seasoned, we should have We should have so much understanding and knowledge, not just of the natural, but of spiritual things, that we're able to source ourselves, right? We really should be. We really, really should be, but we're not. We're still trying to, oh my gosh, can I eat this or can I not eat this? And you're fighting over names and who was the savior and all this crap.
Well, I'm gonna say this.
That is throwing people all into oblivion, and they can't tell whether they're coming or whether they're going. I'm like, this, it's a mess. They still down here acting a fool. You got rogue leaders teaching them wrong. They sending them in the wrong direction. We need some help. Send me Cpenta-Armij down here, right? Listen.
At this point, I'll let the Christians have their angels. They follow angels come down. I'll be alright. Kind of well needed.
I just saw y'all comments. Hold on. Yeah, I was talking to my son. He talking about meat. Lindsay said, laugh out loud, no chili dogs. Oh my, yeah, no chili dogs. Oh my God. I used to love chili dogs. I mean, I still do. I think about it, but now it's just like, bleh. I can't, even if I wanted to, I couldn't even bring myself to do it. Now, I can't. So true about our intestinal tract, Lindsay said. Oahspe College said, Jeremiah, listen to what Oahspe College University said. He said, if an animal have 2 eyes and 1 nose and 1 mouth, don't eat it. Lindsay, or back teeth are flat and not elongated to rip through flesh. That's right. Bite flat and eat nuts and berries and fruit. Right. We got like hand pickers. We can reach up. We got the perfect picking mechanisms to pick fruit and eat it in its naturals. Like, you want to eat something in its natural state? The earth gives it abundantly. Although you got people that went and decided to, this is my land, you can't touch nothing. They uprooted all the natural growing, plant bearing, fruit bearing trees and stuff. And they just got a bunch of trees around here that's not bearing fruit. Y'all didn't create this like this. Man has done this to this place. Right? There should not be that now hungry person here walking in the flesh. Right? Y'all made food abundant and multiple trees that abundantly bear fruit. Whereas like that should have never been an issue. But man has toyed with a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Jen, Graham, Rise, Uncle JB. Shalom, shalom. Right? We don't have things. We got little tiny ones, but that's not. Going into like apples and trees, pears, and
if all trees could grow their stuff, could grow fruits and veggies, right?
They should and do.
There wouldn't be no homeless person.
Right.
They would all be living in the woods, and you have just got to walk around wise and like.
Yeah, right. Because you ain't got to look. When I was still younger, there was still. Well, down in, like, before we moved away to Illinois from here, like, down in when we stayed in the Ocean View area, there was, like, fruit bushes and stuff, all that. Like, we was outside playing. We rarely, really, for real, rent a house to get some, rarely renting a house. It was fruit bushes and stuff we just put, but nowadays, no. We want to tear this up. We want to build condos and houses and businesses and stuff. And not that you can't build those things, but my gosh. Leave the fruit-bearing trees and stuff alone, right? No. Send them down to the Salvation Army. Go call who the people they always tell you call for money to help you pay your bills. And you got a church, Our Lady of Mount Carmel, different ones like that. They never got no money to help people for real because they too busy taking their donations, building their own house of worship, ain't feeding nobody. Not all of them. There are some churches that really do help people and feed them, and many blessings to them. Even if they practicing and teaching shenanigans, at least they got one part right. Even if they doing it just for show, whatever, let y'all deal with them on that. At least hungry bellies are being fed, right? All right, let me finish this. We got onto that with brides and bridegrooms, but even we see brides and bridegrooms in the Bible, but a lot of people really have the wrong misconception about bride and bridegroom, and all the those who graduate and get the title of bride and bridegroom have reached the grade of 50. Kimball Mack, shalom. I smell hamburger and hot dogs yesterday and it smelled horrible. I know. I can't.
Try taco meat, bro.
Listen, I can't even smell meats, everything, all that stuff. It smells absolutely rancid to me. It really does. Like stuff that used to smell good, like when my body kicked over into, I don't know, just eating plant-based for so long, it's like, oh my gosh, it literally, and I used to think people was doing too, I mentioned this before, I used to think people doing too much. They got like vegan people, like, oh my God, you're cooking meat. I mean, I don't be doing all that. I just go on mind my own business or whatever. But now I can see what they were talking about. I still wouldn't act as crazy as they did. I'm just going to remove myself from the situation, but it has a horrible smell. It's like my senses have kicked up a notch to where, why when you go to the bathroom it stinks? Because when you eat flesh, it putrefies in your system. If you get a plant-based diet, and for those who eat a plant-based diet, when you go to the bathroom to do the number 2, it doesn't smell. You don't have a smell. Your body, it doesn't get musty. You don't stink when you sweat and perspire. Why? Because you don't have rotting flesh rotting in your gut, in your intestines. That's how you know you shouldn't eat meat.
How long you along?
Okay. Let me stop. I'm going to leave y'all alone. Look. Just starting your meatless journey. Hey. Okay, get one back. Hey. Okay, y'all. What time is it? 8:30. Let me hurry up. Okay. You can do it. Even if you fall, get back up. Don't beat yourself up too bad. If you ate it for many years, sometimes it might be hard. Some people go cold turkey, and that's it. I went cold turkey back in 2009, and I got pregnant with Josh. No, I'm sorry. I was pregnant with Josh when I went cold turkey because I was so sick that nothing was working. I normally have bad morning sickness, but it was something different about this time. And I couldn't keep anything down, and I didn't even feel better until I cut everything out: meat, dairy, all that crap, and then my body began to heal itself.
I'm gonna say this.
It began to heal itself, and then when I got pregnant 2 years later with Josiah, I started having this terrible craving for fish and hot sauce and chicken and hot sauce. And why I do that? After 2 years of being plant-based, I fried me some fish and I drenched it in hot sauce. So it was good going in. And I think I probably had 2 weeks of that foolishness. And then I started getting really sick again. And I'm like, holy crap. And I immediately almost knew what it was immediately. And then I was like, from then I just completely cut it out and never went back to it ever again. So I've been meatless, plant-based since, he was born, before August, early 2012. Or it could have been 2011. When I get August? Towards the end of 2011. No, I'm sorry. Early 2012, because I was pregnant with him when I started getting the craving, so I was already in 20. So I probably early 2012 is when I went plant-based, but I ain't never went back. But it wasn't until early this year where that whole smell changed over, and now even cooking meat, it smells like rotting flesh. It's horrible. Okay. Oahspe College University says, Book of the Ark of Bond, chapter 11, verse 99. The third virtue is to eat no fish or flesh, nor other unclean thing, for of what profit is it to bathe the outer part if one... Bruh, what? We ain't even got to the Ark of Bond yet. Listen to this, Jeremiah. I'm going to go highlight it. Hold on, let's just find it. Hold on. I got to find the Ark of Bond. And we know at the beginning they talk about why you shouldn't eat it and everything. Even with the guy who this was penned through, he was saying after he cleaned up his life, he pretty much went plant-based. He didn't eat any kind of flesh. That's when his spiritual senses really started kicking in, and like he could really clearly hear. Book of Ark of Bond, page 388. Ooh, I will be reading it shortly. 388. Chapter 11. Okay. 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, verse 99. What? Hold on, this is at verse 99 or verse 9? Oh, verse 9. You must have hit second 9 by mistake. Okay. So chapter 11, verse 9. The third virtue, hold on. Let's go up a couple verses. Verse 7. Capilla said the first virtue is to learn to find Jehovah in all things and to love and glorify him. The second virtue is cleanliness. All people, old and young, shall bathe once a day. They gave you one. Some of y'all need to go twice, possibly even 3 times, depending on how much flesh you consume. Your body stinks. Listen, hold on. Okay, and the third virtue is to eat no fish, nor flesh, nor other unclean thing. Listen to this. For what profit is it to bathe the outer part if one putteth filth within? Mic drop. Yo. Okay, so that's all we're gonna read here. Oh, this book is gonna be good. I'll probably jump back in here today. This is real good.
What is this?
Persons once who inhabit this earth. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that book gonna be good, y'all. Ooh, let me finish this so we can get done today. The book of the Ark of Bond is gonna be good. I ain't even looked at none of that till he. Thank you for that. And I'm gonna post his video where he was talking about the angels and the greats called DNA angels. I'm gonna post that. Thank you, Oahspe College University. I'm gonna post that so everybody can see it, and I'm gonna watch it too when I get a chance today or the next couple days, because we're still kind of real busy around here. I need to go ahead and finish this. So we got like 2 more verses. I'll read 16 again. Now the whole time Cpenta-Armij had been gone was 32 days. While she had been absent, God extended the receiving grounds of Jehovih 12,000 miles in breadth toward the south and founded 60 colonies. For even now were and would be for the 4 years to come ships arriving daily with hundreds of thousands of angels who were being prepared for the degree of brides and bridegrooms to Jehovah, ready for the third resurrection. Messengers had arrived in Jehovih daily from Cpenta-Armij, so that God knew when she would return. And accordingly, he had prepared all things in readiness, and she was received in the name of the Father in due ceremony. And Cpenta-Armij ascended the throne of God and sat in the midst, and a light like a sun settled around about her. Her companions, gods and goddesses, now sat not near her, though on the throne to the right and left. Whilst they were taking their respective places, the Essenars were chanting anthems, and the awe and majesty of the scene were magnified to the utmost. And that is the end of chapter 4. So we're going to go ahead. Yeah, we're going to pause because this next chapter is pretty... What? It's 60 verses. Yeah, we're pausing. We're pausing right here. Let me get my marker. Okay. Let me... Ooh, Book of Wars against Jehovah gonna be good too, y'all. Okay, let me find this. Make my marker for the letter references that we didn't get to yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this in here. Okay. All right, y'all. Ooh, let me just read this. I know we ain't got to it yet. Ooh. Did I think I skipped A. Because chapter 5, verse 3 has reference letter B. Oh, I'm glad I went to look at this. Hold on. I definitely skipped the reference letter A. Okay. It had to be talking about the grades because that's what it is. And it's probably when I was talking about the grades. There you go. I did right there. Yep. Hold on. Okay. So I'm going to read this here. This is at the beginning of the chapter 4. Chapter 4, verse 4. I'm going to just read this and then we'll read the footnote and then we'll be done. For know ye all that whoever aspireth to me shall come to me, but the nearest way for many is round about. Ye being above grade 50 are already more to me and for me than against me or from me, and in equal degree are cast upon your own responsibility. And right after it says for me, than against me, or from me, after me is reference letter A, which the reference letters for this are at the end of the chapter on page 3. And it says, for A, we here have an insight to grades. As it is here referred to, one would suppose grade 50 is when a man is equal in goodness and evil, or rather equal in serving others and serving himself. So, like what a lot of people is just like, it's all about them. They're completely selfish, worried about themselves. It's like they have more concern about themselves than they do for others, to where when Yah or the Great Spirit teaches us, we should really have not like overly more concern and completely disregard our own self where we don't even take care of ourselves. But there should be an equal balance, right? We should be even balanced on all ends. But listen to this. It says, by this standard, there are few on earth that would reach 25, and many not above grade 1. Like a lot of people have died and lost their flesh and have not even risen above grade 1. So if you ain't even reached grade 1 before you pass away here, bro, you got long schooling days ahead of you, right? And you're going to probably be, and if you die before me and you in this region, they're going to probably bring you right back here to listen to me.
Right back on.
Right here. Take them back to Pam's house. She up every morning, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Friday and Saturday, if it's not the Sabbath. Take them right there, because we're there. We learned about that. Wherever the Oahspe is being read, it's been tested and like scientifically proven they can detect spirits and where they're at when Oahspe is being read out loud. And at specific times, they realize there is like a surge of unseen action and spirits that can be detected, right? In that place. What version of Oahspe am I reading from? The Big Blue Book? The most recent version with all the updates.
I say cherry and ice one.
The edition is... This is the lowest edition, December 2016. So all the updates and stuff. You must have like the older one, because I see people with like it's like a volume 1 and volume 2, but it's like paperback. Yeah, everything is in here, and all the updates and new footnotes and stuff, and yeah, this one. Okay. All right, y'all. So, but that's it for today. But I wanted to read it. Let me read this footnote again, just one more time. This was so good. We here have an insight to grades. As it is here referred to, one would suppose grade 50 is when a man is equal in goodness and evil, or rather equal in serving others and in serving himself. By this standard, there are few on earth that would reach 25, and not many above grade 1. And that's the end of that footnote, and it says 1882 edition. All right, y'all. So with that being said, thank y'all for hanging out today. I really enjoyed today's reading. All right, y'all. So we read quite a few pages. Y'all, it is a Monday, the 4th of July, 2022, day 150 of year 4 of reading through the books of the Law and the Prophets under the 4-year consecutive day count, day 1168. We read the Oahspe book of Cpenta-Armij, daughter of Jehovah. pages 266 to page 274. So we still going to be here in this book for a few more days. Then we got to come back to where Cpenta-Armij's book starts and read the earthly portion. Remember, when the book is split in half, the top portion is the heavenly account. The bottom portion is what's happening simultaneously here on earth, right? So a lot of time, and especially in the Bible, all we got was the bottom portion. We heard, like, when angels were helping, like, say when Israel marched around the walls of Jericho 7 times, and then the walls fell. Well, this tells you what was happening to cause them walls to fall, right? It wasn't just their screaming and shouting at the end of it, but there were literally heavenly hosts lining up to knock these walls down. They was just doing, they had to do something in obedience. Just they just had to get the people moving, right? Don't just just gonna knock. No, y'all help us here. Even though you think you're doing something, we just gonna help you, make you think you're doing something. Which is why we ain't gonna show ourselves, so it's gonna look like y'all are mighty people by y'all screams and stuff, and people gonna get we're going to knock the walls down, but y'all we'll wait till y'all get done marching. Have they done yet? No. Just give them a few more minutes. John pulling up the trail in the back. All right. Just give them, they're almost done, right? But anyway, this gives the heavenly account of stuff that they decided not to put into the Bible. They just chopped and screwed it, and it's a bunch of shenanigans going through and through from the beginning to the end. Do I throw it out? No, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, because there's still a lot of truth in there. But it's a lot of shenanigans too. But you got to be able to recognize and call out the shenanigans. Okay. All right, cool. So with that being said, y'all, that's it for today. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm going to post right now the video, the angel DNA, which Oahspe College University. Oahspe College University is somebody that's been, I just learned about him few weeks ago, right? But he's actually been on YouTube teaching about this, because he has many more years experience of going through this. That's how he can throw off references and stuff. I'm like, what? So, but yeah, he knows this thing front and back. His videos are really, really insightful. I haven't seen all of them. Like I said, I just learned about them while I'm doing research and Googling Oahspe and all that stuff. Him and Selah Shalom TV. Those are like the two ones like I go to, I trust. Selah Shalom TV, he does just about every day. He does a live video teaching, and he goes into depth on a lot of this stuff. And it's a lot of the Hebrew community that tunes into his, because, I like how he teaches. He's breaking up a lot of the misconception and the false teachings. Yeah, he the master, ain't he? I'm like, bruh. He is. He go in. He don't cut no corners. Nothing, right? He's straight raw. He gonna give it to you. He ain't sugarcoating nothing. He ain't saying nice, sweet words to make you feel good. So if you ain't never had a father that can talk stern to you and you get yourself together, his channel not for you, right? Don't get up there talking crazy, because they gonna ignore you, or somebody might block you, or the people in the comments gonna get on you, right? So don't go there acting a fool. If you don't agree with some stuff, just sit and listen a little bit longer. It's gonna make sense, because if you didn't believe the Bible, ain't no way in the world people that's arguing, what I found out, people that's arguing about the Oahspe, first of all, half of them really don't read the Bible anyway. They just find certain parts and they just want to go to war with you. First of all, that's the wrong spirit. If you read the Bible and you want to go to war with everybody, our God is the God of war. He's going to come back and we're going to burn the heathens. They're going to go to hell, all this. I can tell you right now, you are under the teaching of a false God, right? He is, right? He's like the Osiris in the book of Osiris. Y'all, if y'all was here for the book of Osiris, y'all know Osiris was that dude, right? No, he was one of them, like, stern fathers, like, he love you, but he ain't taking no crap. He ain't taking no kind of excuses. Really? Okay, get this done. Don't do why he's still acting a fool. Pull this up. We're gonna do this right now. He don't take no crap, right? And that's the way it should be. But still, everything is done in love. Even if you don't perceive the love in the strict discipline that you get, it's for the saving and betterment of your own soul. And not just you, but for all involved. We don't take sides, right? There's an equal balance, no bias here. It's for the good of all. And that's how the true Father, the great Creator, operates. There is no biases with anybody. He doesn't love one group of people more than he loves another group of people. It don't work that way. And if you're getting any other kind of teaching, then that right there, you are under the teaching of a false God, which was probably in our day and time, what we know, the false religions, even you got Christianity, Islam, and a lot of the other ones, all of them were created, and they came from the heavenly realms under the teaching of Luamon. So you got my Hebrew brethren and sistren ready to go to war with Babylon and stuff. Bruh, you are under the control and teaching of Luamon, the false God, right? Y'all does everything truly operates out of love, right? Even tough love, but it's for the betterment of all. You under the teaching where you annihilating, slaughtering men, women, and babies, anything like that, that is not the Great Spirit. That is not our Father.
I got a question.
Wrong teaching, wrong place. Get out of there.
What if the God that they talking about in the Bible, what if that was a God ruling earth at the time from that period?
Well, yeah, they are. They were once in
is.
Flesh. Yeah, well, it gets to Jesus. They talk about Jesus too in here. This is a whole section to talk about him, but in here he's called Jeshu.
Jeshu?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't.
I'm sorry, not Jeshu, right? Joshu, like Joshua, but Joshu. But it gives the details and all that different stuff,
Does
right?
it tell where he at right now?
Does it tell where he at right now?
Yeah, because
the real one is a high raise. The one we get, you get created fictional character, like all of that stuff. You got to be able to decipher through what it is and who's peddling what story. Huh? There's a lot of high raise. Like, son, where's your Oahspe? See, Elijah want to get his. At least he got his and his open. You want to sit on the counter and just philosophize with me.
Look through it. But
look through it, but you don't read it.
I do.
Thank you, sir.
All
right, lead him by example. This is why he's the oldest. I'm sorry. Look, okay. Let me go because they about to get in here in this kitchen. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out. May the great spirit, the most holy, the ever present, always be present with you, which he always is. And when you learn that you might be off a little bit, may you have the strength and courage to adjust what you believe and apply truth to your life and walk in it, right? Regardless of what anybody else say, whether they like it or not, or they call you a heretic, the truth that you learn, when you learn it, you should apply it then and there and walk in it. If you don't walk in the truths that you get and come to you, you won't get any more truths, right? You can't go from glory to glory, right? You just gonna stay stuck. Why give you more truth if you're not walking in the truth that you're currently presented with, right? So with that being said, beautiful people, I love y'all. And I'll see y'all. Jamie Brown Curry. Hey, we got another new person. Hey.
Why don't?
Welcome. Now, I don't know, Jamie. Oh, I'm sorry. I said Jamie. Jemiah. Welcome, sis. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the family. All right, beautiful people. But yeah, check them out. Check out Oahspe College University. He a GOAT. Check out Selah Shalom TV. He'll go subscribe to their channel so you can see when they go live or whatever. I think Oahspe, most of yours you pre-record and upload, but Selah Shalom he been going live for he been up here he got videos 12 years old, right? He's just it's just he got so many videos with so much of this broken down. It's just just check them out. You'll see what I'm talking about. But with that being said, I'm gonna update the video titles hopefully before the end of this day. And I'm gonna post the DNA Angel video that Oahspe College University did. When y'all get a chance, look at that, and it'll clear up some of the things about the ranking and divisions and stuff. How the unseen hierarchy is, we see with the military grades and stuff. Those military understand that, I'm prior military, so when I read through this, I understand that, right? So, but they all have different functions, just like the hierarchy of your body, right? The brain doesn't do what the feet do, but it's no more important and no less important than your feet, because your feet help balance you and carry you. You need them, right? You got a right hand and a left hand. Although they have the same function, certain ones can reach certain places of your body where other ones can't, unless you real flexible and you get it. The eyes can't be the ears can't be the mouth, but all of them are very important. And the most important places are the ones that are hidden. A lot of people today, they unhide them, letting everybody see, but cover them up, right? They are the most important, right? Because if you didn't have them and they aren't working properly, and you letting multiple people see it and run through it, you're going to screw up the whole body, right? You're going to throw everybody else off. You're going to throw off the eyes. You're going to throw off the ears, spiritually, physically. You might get something you can't get rid of and start affecting all the other pieces of the body. I'm just saying, the ones that should be covered should stay covered. You should show them the most honor, because even though they're like you could say, you go into the bathroom, that can be like considered like the trash can or the waste basket of your house, like your physical house is the waste basket, trash can of your physical, spiritual house. But it's needful to get rid of the trash that the house accumulates. We got to get rid of it somehow. If that's not working, the whole body dies, right? So they're just as important. The hidden members are just as important as the members that are beautiful and that are seen, like the head and the face, right? So, you know. All right, with that being said, Elijah, Uncle Nathaniel said, tell that young man, which one? Both of them? You probably talking about Elijah, right? Tell that young man I said hello. It's been a long time. It's good to see him.
What's going on, Uncle Nat?
And for y'all that don't know, this is my oldest son, Elijah. This is his baby boy, Jackson, one of the three in his clan. Y'all know Mr. Murphy over here, the professor. He like to philosophize and ask all these questions in the morning. I mean, which is cool, right? It livens the video up. But anyway, that's it, y'all. We out of here. I love y'all. See y'all back here tomorrow morning, right now, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to try to be on time tomorrow, because I'll always be running like a few minutes late when I tell y'all to be here. Y'all be here, but I be playing around and lollygagging. All right, y'all. Father, help me. All right. I love y'all. Bye. Peace.